We are here in the Abuja studio, and it's still this morning on ITV. Like I said earlier on, we are focusing on the implementation of the new national minimum wage, which seems to be generating some reactions from some states. As we speak today, there are states whose workers have gone on strike based on the fact that, according to them, the minimum wage has not been implemented by their governors, and they have down-tooled Ebonyi, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and FCT. They are all part of the states that currently their workers are on strike. And to dissect this issue, with me in the studio, I have Comrade Hamza Mohammed. He is the President, Nigeria Union of Mine Workers. You're welcome. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you again. Yeah. So the national minimum wage, by now it is, Nigeria thought that by now it should not have been a problem. So what could be the issue now that the labor workers, are going on strike?
So, good morning. When you look at a new minimum wage, it's a right of the workers, it's not a privilege. And then the discussion on national minimum wage is even overdue, because it has to be implemented for a very long time. But the government are dragging it, and then we are still following up until when it was signed into the law. So now it has become a law for implementation. But if you look, what is the reason of those governors for denying the workers the new minimum wage? How much is the wage? Even if you look at now, we don't have been talking of that new minimum wage, because it has been even overdue. Now we have to be talking another new minimum wage, because even the president, what he promised is not minimum wage. He's promised a living wage. But now what are we getting? Everything is upside down. Look at the governors. How much is 70,000? Is this 7,000 enough for transportation alone? Just take transport. 70,000 cannot take a worker from home to transport himself to the place of the work and come back in a month. So why? What is the reason of not implementation? And some states, they even pay more than that 70,000, because they know that 70,000 is not enough. But some states, they are still dragging. So ask them, how much did they want to pay as a minimum wage? I think this country will have to even make another law that any governor that refuses to pay that minimum wage should be sanctioned. Because they think they have whatever they do, they will just do it. They are servants of the people. They are here because of the people. That's why they have been elected to be governors. They are not there, it's not their private estate. But they just take it that it is just on their own. So whatever they like, they will do it. Even there's a governor who was saying that within 72 hours, any worker that didn't go back to
yes, the state governor,
he has enough of them. Look at it.
The state governor. He claims that he's not owing the workers anything, that he is paying them what is due them.
Did he pay them the new minimum wage? This is what he do them, not whatever he likes, because there's a law, there's a procedures. It has been take a label for a very long time to interact with the government before we reach this conclusion. And then after then we just accept it. Not that we know that it's not enough. It's nothing to the workers.
So you talked about minimum wage and the living wage. For the purpose of clarity, what is the difference?
Yes, living wage, at least you will have enough that you can pay your rent. Your children can go to school. You can have enough. That's a living wage. But this is a minimum wage. You can just have it.
So if you're talking about living wage now, like how much do you think will be enough for an average Nigerian?
The living wage we're proposing is 550,000.
And you think it will be enough?
Yes. That is manageable. At least you can save something. But when you look, all workers that they are earning 70,000 in their salary, go to their family, go and see what is happening. They are always integrated one place to the other. As they receive the money, they will just pay some little something. then they will continue borrowing the money. That's how they are living.
They are
It's not that they
constantly
living
in debt.
comfortably.
So that is, even the 70,000 naira is not enough.
It's not enough.
Not to talk of owing.
Look at how much they cannot even clear their debt.
Okay, now let's narrow it down to FCT, because for me, I would say that a lot of Nigerians will actually thought that FCT will be the first to implement this. So how come?
So it's very unfortunate. It's even shameful. This is the seat of the power. This is where the president is. This is where we are even looking at the minister of FCT. He's doing at least something that would appreciate in terms of development. But how can such person will not even think that the people deserve to have a new minimum wage? And then this is where President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is. The FCT is supposed to go on strike. It's a shameful to the government. And they're not looking up to that. Yeah? I think as a leaders, there is something that you don't even allow it to happen. Because you have a credit on it. But for the minister of the FCT to allow the workers to go on strike because of 70,000, and then look at the cost of living in FCT. Look at the cost of transportation in FCT. You cannot enter a car of not less than 1,000 naira just to drop. Calculate 30 days for you to, or 24 days for you to just enter 1,000. Come every day you spend 2,000. How much is it going to remain?
I don't think there's anywhere you spend 1,000 to and fro.
Even the 1,000, just one drop.
The way it is.
Just for you to go, you can spend 2,000 for coming back with. Some they will just even separating themselves by going to the office. When you go, you represent tomorrow when that person, because they cannot meet up. And then now you even allow those people that they are managing even to be in the office for them to be out of the office because they cannot pay them. Okay,
for you as a unionist, how can you assess the productivity of workers? Would you say there's an improvement or there's no improvement? Because since all of this has started happening, how can you assess productivity of workers?
So,
let me just say from your own end.
Like if we look in our own private sector, actually there is improvements. Because before even the implementation of new minimum wage, I know many companies, what they are paying is even more than that 70,000. Because definitely that 70,000 is not enough. And then some of the places, they have even a truck that will pick the workers from their homes and then it will bring them back to their homes. We have worked towards that one, and then we have it. Most of our companies today, their workers can go, they have their bosses, they will take them from their home, and then after work they will take them back to their houses. And then at the end of the month, their salary, what they are receiving, is more than that 70,000. Then what of the government? Can't know that they can't pay?
That's the private sector. Private sector is paying well,
yes,
and so productivity has improved in the private sector.
Yes.
But you can't see much for the public for the public sector. You can't say much.
We can't say much because if you look at, but some states, they are even encouraging their workers. Like Kano now, when that's where we take the final decision that any state that failed to abide by the paying of the minimum wage, the state will go on strike. Then he promised, the governor there promised, after commissioning the CNG buses that the NLC have done there, the governor promised that they have some buses that they are not using them. But those vehicles now, he promised that those vehicles was given to the workers, almost 300. They are going to put them in order so that at least it will help the people to reduce the pain of this time. But when you look some places, they don't even care about the people.
Now, talking about these CNG buses, will it be better? Is it better than the petrol cars?
Yes.
Or is it just in terms of it will reduce transportation?
the CNG cars is the consumption, at least the gas is cheaper, and then the consumption is less than consumption of the petroleum, and is environmentally friendly.
Environmentally friendly.
Yes, because it's not the emission is not like this fuel and so on and so forth. So it's in the edition of climate change is more is.
But some people have expressed concern that Nigeria is hot, like this is dry season, and we know that this part of the country is usually hot. Yes. Even the Kano we're talking about is usually hot. So is this conducive for a CNG run car?
Okay, but then you see, maybe it's the technicians that can respond to that. But I think they have looked this the agenda of our weather before, because you know it's a company that do the, so that's why the people who this by side mechanic, they have to avoid it, because really they cannot do it how it's supposed to be, take care of to avoid the danger.
Okay, now let's come back to the issue of strike. The Ebonyi State governor threatened to either replace or not to pay those who are on strike should they fail to resume work within 72 hours. If the governor decides to see through his threat, make through his threat, is there something that no union can do?
The governor is not above the law. The governor is not above the law, and then these workers has their right to protest. And then the new minimum wage, it has been signed into the law. So it is duty for the governor, at least, to implement it, not to go outside the law and then start treating people. Because these people, when they go strike, they go on their own right. They have right to protest. Because before the new minimum wage was signed into the law, nobody go into process. They are all working. But when it was signed, that's where they have their right. And then that is their right. And then we are there, by the grace of God, even when we can even go there and protest. In Ebonyi State.
Go to Ebonyi State and protest.
To support the workers, because they are doing injury to one is injury to all.
So the implementation, when was it supposed to have started?
It has to start this month.
Okay, this December.
Yeah, no.
Okay, from November.
Yes.
Okay, that explains the protest.
Yes, that's what I say. Any salary that has been on 29, from 29,
should reflect
the minimum wage. Then outside that, that's it, we'll go on strike.
But you know, there's this issue with the labor organization itself, the organized labor itself. There seems to be this break in trust, this distrust even between the labor, the organized labor itself and the workers. Like, people no longer trust organized labor because they just see them that, okay, whenever they say we should go on strike, whenever they give us a directive, they want to leverage on that and get something for themselves. Do you think that is true?
It's not true. As how? As how? Whatever labor is agitated,
like when they go for negotiation,
it's the interest of the people. And then if because I don't think if today laborers people are thinking that when they go for negotiation, they go. I think even government will capitalize on that, and even by now maybe the labor will not have a voice to speak. And then we are saying,
does labor still have a voice?
We have a voice.
Are you sure?
I'm speaking because I have confidence that we never collect kobo from anybody, and if we collect, let government come out and say that they are giving the social amount. That's why we do this. We are trying. Despite whatever the economy is, whatever the country is going on, labor is still a labor. And then we know that we are among the people that today people are looking up to.
Okay, how can you compare the labor of today and the labor of, let's say, 20 years back?
Yes, the labor of today and the labor of 20 years back, the only difference is the difference of the leadership. We have the leaders, even if it is an army or a politicians, we have the leader, they have concern over their people. But today our leader doesn't care. Whatever you say about them, nobody take it as anything. Before the leaders, if labor say they are going on strike, they have concern that people who are working, they are not going to work because me, as the leader, I cannot treat them well. They will try to engage with them. But today, even the leader, they will be even provoking that if labor will continue at all the time, will be on strike because they will promise and they will not fulfill that promise. And then when we go on strike, they'll say, come, let's negotiate. And then because of that negotiation, we say, okay, as government call for negotiation, people go back to work. When we go for negotiation, they will fail. That's what even make people even be looking at the labor, even they're not doing the right thing.
Exactly.
And the failure is because they go
because Nigerians are still wondering how could a negotiation that started from 650,000 come down to 70,000.
Well, if you look at how long are we?
So the expectation would have been that the expectation was that no matter what, labor should have stood its ground and negotiated for at least
for how long?
200,000.
For how long?
From 650 down to 4 something, down to as if they were down to 70,000.
Look at it. Even the government, when that negotiation is going on, still the state government, they are saying they cannot pay more than that 30,000. Despite that pressure, some they are even about to even sack their half of their workers. So our aims, if somebody that maybe you want to even protect him for getting salary, and then he is in the verge of even losing the work. So labor, we are in very hot seat.
In a dire situation.
Yes, we are in serious problem because the government, they are not looking, they are not thinking any good for their people. Sorry to say that.
So what should labor do?
That's what we're doing.
Aside, because everything that labor has been doing is the same thing that the organized labor has been doing over the years. They give directive for down to workers will go on strike. Then sometimes they do protest. Then they'll call for negotiation, and at the end of the day, the other side gets the upper hand because that is how it is, instead of the other way around. Is there any other strategy that you feel that labor can employ to get results?
The only strategy is to have a leadership that they have concern about the Nigerians. Because if the leaders has concern over their people, they cannot be always making people in a very difficult task. Look at today. We started from removal of the subsidy without putting adequate arrangement on ground. And then we know what is minimum wage. What is a subsidy? Subsidy is only that we cannot refine our fuel because we are importing it from outside the country. That's why we are talking of the subsidy, landing costs, and so on and so forth. Now, even when the refinery is taking place, like when the refinery is taking place, we have seen the dimension of the government that has taken in the all ratification that they are not ready for the people to enjoy, despite that this thing is refined in the country. So, if you look, labor cannot do anything when the leaders are bad, when the leaders, they are not thinking good of their people. That's the problem, that's where we are. And then this doesn't concern labor alone. It is for the whole Nigerian, especially our youth. We must stick to elect a good leaders. That's the only way that we have a change. So
you think it is the fault of the youth that we keep having the leaders that we have?
It is our fault.
According to
including the youth, yes, because youth, they are more
but people go out to vote.
More effective.
People go out to vote.
If we look at the numbers, the youth are more than, I think, the elites. So,
Yes.
so the power is in the hands of the
like
youth.
60 or over 60% of the population.
Even when you go to where they are casting their votes, I think the majority people that you see there, they are youths. Most of these people, they are in their houses. But at the end of the day, they will play their role, they will get their way, and then continue treating people. So our youth must know their rights. It's their right to elect the leaders. It's their right to avoid any sort of collecting peanuts to sell their right for good 4 years.
Then when you talk about the youth should stop collecting peanuts, somebody will also put what goes in for negotiation and comes back and comes out with peanuts.
Which peanuts?
650,000 down to 70,000. Is that not peanuts?
No, if you think, but that one is not the labor that is collecting it. It is our workers.
No, but the organized labor, the organized labor went into that discussion on behalf
of the workers.
Of the workers.
But you are in this country. You know how many times that labor is opting out in the meeting? How many times? Even the people that have been sent for negotiation, when you look at, they don't even know, they don't even have anything to present. Because of the labor say, how will you come for negotiation and then you are not mandated to say yes or no? So the government has frustrated.
Okay, you come for negotiation. Okay,
so
you don't have a say.
The best thing that we have seen is, okay, as it is now, let's agree, let's have something on table. So when we collect this, okay, by tomorrow, we know now this new minimum wage, it has been put into law. It has been signed.
You know, it will take 3 years before it will be reviewed, right?
It has been signed into the law. Now we can start embark on another review. But if we never even accept it, then the time is continue going. This means that we can, if the new minimum wage has started deliberation since now, almost 2 years. 2 years before implementation. Even now in the time of the implementation, look at the problem that we're having with the governors. Like I said, they are not even, they are maybe these governors has brought from other countries. They are not even in Nigeria. Okay, so what will be, as your last word, what would you say to governors and also to workers? What I'm saying to the governors, especially the ones being threatened that if you don't come to work, what I'm saying even to that you lose your job. That governor, that he should look God. He knows that he is a governor because he is there to serve people, not to serve himself. And then he is there for the benefit of the people. And then people elect him to be in that position so that at least he can make their life better. Not for him to come, some families that have stayed in the queue from morning till evening to make sure that he has become a governor. Today, those are the people that he are treating them, that he can send them out of their work. Maybe some of them, they came up there, they never eat from morning till evening. For him to be a governor, he didn't elect himself to be a governor. It is people that elected him to be in that position. So he have to look, and tomorrow he will not be there. Even if he can stay there for another 20 years, one day he will not be there. He will know is another person will be a governor. And then he will look at that person, what he's doing is wrong. And today, some people who are not in that seat, they are looking what he's doing is wrong. So he should not be intoxicated with power. Because when you are in power, some people, their eye will be blind. They will not know whether is wrong, or because some people are telling them, go ahead, whatever you're doing is okay, you are alpha and omega. And then what I'm saying, let them pay the people the reasonable amount that they have to pay to the people, so that at least people will enjoy and then people will work well. You cannot put ICPC, EFCC, and so on and so forth, and then you are not paying the people who are supposed to pay them. And then you say things will go right. No. If you look, all our problem is the problem of the governance. If you have a good governance, you will have a decent people that will work without having any problem.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade Hamza Mohammed, President, Nigeria Union of Mine Workers. It's good to have you here once again.
Thank you.
The discussion has been the disputes between Labour and the government concerning the implementation of the new national minimum wage, 70,000 naira. Nigerians are asking, how much is it that governors cannot pay? How much is 70,000 naira? Money that will not even take a worker home. Well, for the striking workers, we are hoping that people in authorities will look will look this with a human face and also attend to their needs so that they can go back to their jobs.